Okay, hello guys, it's me again from Hui's Life Lab. So this is the channel where I talk about my personal experience about life in general, dating and studying. So as I mentioned earlier, these are my personal subjective experience. So feel free to adopt anything that is useful to you and discard all the things that you disagree with me. Okay. So the main topic of today's video is that why do people praise a bad restaurant? So my hypothesis is that they want to protect their own ego, or in other words, they want to save face for their ego. So let me give you an example. Have you ever asked someone for their opinion about something? For example, you ask your friend, hey, is the food at that restaurant any good? You ask the question so that you know whether or not you should go and have dinner there, right? Now, the next question is, after you ask that question and your friend said that, oh, that restaurant is really good, so you believe them and went to have dinner there, but in the end, the restaurant food sucked. The food was like horrendous and terrible. So why does this happen? This happens to me like several times in my life, and I tend to think of two scenarios. Okay, so the first scenario is that this person consciously lie to you. Maybe they want to tease you, they want to harm you because they just don't like you. They want you to waste your money on that restaurant. Maybe the second scenario is that the taste about food is just different from your taste. Like they actually think that the food there is good, but you just don't. Yeah, it's just different in taste. But later in my life, I thought of another scenario, a hypothesis about a third scenario, which is today's topic. So my hypothesis is that it's not that they consciously lie to you, it's not that their taste is different, but because they want to save face for the ego. Let's examine the restaurant example again. So, your friend ate at the restaurant and thought that the food was really bad. But when you ask them about the restaurant, they say that it's okay, or they even say that it's good. So oftentimes it's not that they want to harm you, nor because their taste is different from your taste. So what's the reason? They have to say that the restaurant is good because if they admit it was bad, the food there was bad and it was a waste of money, it's like they are admitting to you and to themselves that they have made a mistake in choosing the restaurant, that their decision was flawed and they wasted their money on the meal. They tell you that the restaurant is good because they want to convince themselves, they want to lie to themselves that they didn't make a wrong choice. They have to say that to feel less regretful about the money they spent on the dinner at that bad restaurant. So in the past, I encountered a case like this. I once knew a girl, let's call her Hannah. So Hannah introduced me to a course, saying that herself and many of her acquaintances had taken the course and it really broadened their minds. So because I know Hannah for a long time, and I assessed that Hannah was a very knowledgeable and respectful individual, so I believe her and I give the course a shot. Specifically, I went to the introduction session of the course, and here's what I found. Okay, the course didn't have any official document listing or describing their curriculum. The content discussed in the introduction session is very vague. So the topic revolves mostly around the topic of enlightening the mind, like a lot of motivational, emotional quotes like I can do it, I can entangle the knots in my mind, something like that. I sat in the introduction session for 3 hours and I didn't hear much about the course itself. It felt more like a sharing session from the alumni of the course. It's like they try to stimulate my emotion, they try to hype up my emotion so that I buy the course impulsively. And this is the catch. The course lasted for 3 consecutive days, 3 full days, and it cost 10 million Vietnam dong. So it's like $500. That's a lot of money for Vietnamese. So I'll let you judge the information yourself. But to me, it didn't convince me at all. Like that money and what I receive, it's not balanced. Frankly, it seems like a scam. So I kept wondering why Hannah, why the hell did you introduce that course to me? Because like Hannah in my mind is someone who's really knowledgeable and respectful. She knows a lot of things really well and she's not easily fooled or scammed. So why did she introduce this course to me? So maybe because Hannah's learning mindset is totally different from mine. Maybe that course truly brought her some form of values that I couldn't see. Or, according to my hypothesis, maybe because Hannah had already spent too much money on the course. So, if she admitted that the course was bullshit, she would have to face the fact that she made a big mistake and threw away a bunch of money out of the window. In other words, she wasted the money. She got scammed. But if Hannah can somewhat convince me and other people to take that course alongside with her, maybe then she can somewhat convince herself, her own conscience, that the course is valuable because Tom also learned the course alongside with her. Other people also learned the course. So that's my thought about why someone praise a product when it actually suck. So I want to make a disclaimer. Note that it's not always like this. As I mentioned earlier, maybe they just don't like you. Maybe their taste is just different. My hypothesis isn't always right, okay? Not everyone wants to lie to themselves consciously or subconsciously. Some people can face the truth and admit the mistake. So when you ask them, is that restaurant bad? They can say, oh, that's bad, the food suck, don't go there. Some people can admit the mistake like that. So my hypothesis isn't always correct. So, what do you think of my hypothesis? I hope you find this video helpful. I hope that my point have somewhat broadened your perspective a little bit about why this very simple scenario is happening in your daily life. Thank you.